Ну а я готов представить следующего спикера. И для следующего выступления вам понадобится вновь программа, которая синхронно переводит участников иностранных наших гостей. Поэтому включайте опять программу под названием «Спикус». Сейчас она вам точно понадобится. Доставайте свои наушнички, чтобы не упустить самого важного. И большая просьба: в момент выступления спикера не поднимайтесь со своих мест, не вставайте и не уходите. Уход и заход в зал только между выступлениями. Так мы проявляем уважение к спикеру. И чтобы спикера не сбить с мысли, не сбить с его тайминга, просьба не вставать во время выступлений. Я рад представить вам соучредителя, технического директора Sam Experience, компании, которая помогает путешественникам испытать все, что может предложить только город. У компании есть два продукта – Sam the Local и Sam the Expert. Sam the Local – отмеченная наградами платформа, которая связывает людей с местными инсайдерами для индивидуальных туров в Гонконге. С момента запуска в 2015 году Sam the Local насчитывает более 75 местных инсайдеров, которые охватывают 12 языков, 10 категорий интересов и представляют 8 стран со всего мира. На нашей сцене спикер из Гонконга Мэгги Лау. Ваши аплодисменты. Ион, скажите, пожалуйста, а вы кликер далеко унесли? Ион? Мне нужен ваш кликер, который вы забрали у меня. Спасибо большое. Мэгги?
Thank you. Growing up, I was a competitive swimmer and water polo player. Being in the water has always been, and probably always will be, where I feel the most comfortable. At practice one day, our coach noticed that as a team, we stopped several meters away from the wall. And maybe it's because we were tired, or maybe it's because there were too many people in the way to actually touch the wall. But he got sick of it, and one day he stopped us in the middle of practice and lectured, or yelled, if you will. And he told us that, I don't care if someone has to drag you, but touch the goddamn wall every time, no exceptions. He thought that in the last several meters before you touch the wall, that is where you make the most gain. This is where you can push your heights and you can extend your abilities. And so this was a concept that he had instilled in us from that day forward. And so I'm Maggie, CEO and co-founder of Sam Experiences. Today I'd like to share the story of how this concept of persistence and touching the wall and always finishing has helped me through my startup journey and also through life. Let me first share a little bit more about our story and what we do. In 2011, we bought one-way tickets from California to Hong Kong because of our love for this dynamic city and desire to explore our Hong Kong roots. Since then, we've discovered that Hong Kong is an ever-changing and diverse city that truly has something for everyone. How did we discover these hidden gems? Through the local people. But not everybody gets to see this side of the city because it is not marketed or hard to access. As an initiative to enable people to explore all that Hong Kong has to offer, we created Sam Experiences to bring access to individuals who can each share their experiences, stories, and interests to showcase the best that this beautiful city has to offer. Our vision is to enable cultural understanding and appreciation through experiences. Will you join us on this journey? At Sam Experiences, we have two different products, Sam the Local and Sam the Expert. With Sam the Local, we're an award-winning platform that offers peer-to-peer tour guide booking services. On the platform, we now have more than 75 local insiders who cover 12 different languages, 10 interest categories, and come from 8 countries from around the world. What sets us apart from the competitors is flexibility, proven quality, and our vast network. And so because all of our tours are private and customized, our guests have the ability to start their tours whenever they want, to go for as long as they want, and to do only the things that they're interested in. All of our locals go through a very rigorous 2-step vetting process that includes a phone call and a 1-hour trial tour. We use our proprietary metrics to judge them, and this has proven very successful because 96% of the reviews left for our locals are 5-star reviews. With more than 75 locals who cover the 12 languages, 10 interest categories, and come from 8 countries from around the world, we are able to accommodate the majority of the language preferences, interests, and background requests that we get. With Sam the Expert, we are a social enterprise that allows people to experience UNESCO's intangible cultural heritages. We work with trade masters to curate interactive experiences that are iconic to Hong Kong but are hard to access or a dying industry. Our mission here is to bring exposure and sustainability to things that are very unique to Hong Kong's identity and to help preserve them before they die off and it's too late. What makes Sam the Expert different from the others is access, in-depth knowledge, and curated experience. So we allow people to have access to dying industries and arts that they would not be able to find on their own. We also provide translators to help with language barriers. We only work with experts and masters in their trade to ensure that our guests always have the most accurate and in-depth knowledge. Lastly, we work together with the trade masters and the experts to curate these experiences so that we know that every experience is interactive and engaging. Here is a trailer for one of our experiences. The interesting thing about this concept of always pushing through and always continuing and always moving is that when you're on this road, you're never quite sure what will happen in between and what will pop up. Life is funny that way, isn't it? And what else is you're kind of never really sure where it ends, but the only way to find out where it goes is to continue walking and to keep going. So for 4 years, we worked on this company, and we're still working on the company. So from launch to now, being a profitable company, I can honestly tell you that we got most everything wrong from the beginning. And it has been a journey to get to where we are now and to figure out what was wrong and to adjust and iterate to now be what is right. At the very beginning, we had a really hard time finding the right distribution channel for us. And we tried what felt like everything under the sun. We tried social media marketing, Google AdWords, content marketing, doing press, doing interviews, handing out flyers on the street, and nothing really seemed to work. And we just had to keep trying and keep walking along this road and keep checking things off of the list to eventually, hopefully one day, find something that was right. And that one day finally came when we went to a travel seminar. There, we met the managing director of a luxury hotel in Hong Kong, and he changed the course of our company forever. And so Looking back now, that day was a very memorable day. But he changed our course because he saw the potential in our product. And although we had never really thought about working with luxury hotels, after he introduced us to his head of concierge, it was very clear that this was the right fit. They are a boutique luxury hotel, and they are very hands-on with their guests, and they basically make sure that every preference that their guest has is tailored to. And that's exactly what we do. We offer private and customized tours, so it all made sense. After we figured out that luxury hotels are the right and the perfect channel for us, all we had to do was reach out to more of them. And now we work with some of the most world-renowned hotel brands. After figuring out that luxury hotels was the correct channel for us, it also made us realize that we were targeting the wrong market the whole time. Like I said, we got most everything wrong. And so initially, when we first started, we thought that it would be millennials, people who are between the ages of 18 and 35, who would use our product. They love backpacking, they love experiential travel, they love talking to local people. But what we discovered is that millennials are very good at doing their own research. They love getting lost in the city, and they think that just by seeing something, they've experienced it. Whereas, we've always said, it's the stories behind everything that really make this monument meaningful. And so what we eventually learned is that our target market and people who would actually pay for our service are people between the ages of 35 and 55. They're very well educated, they have high disposable incomes, and they actually care to learn the stories behind everything. And so, again, that was an example of how, from the beginning, we kind of made assumptions to test, and most every time it was wrong. In year 3, we then started to think about expansion. And so we had the opportunity to expand into the cities that our hotel partners also operated in. We thought this was a risk-free way to do expansion because we were sure that we already had a partner in the cities that we went to. Unfortunately, my co-founder and I disagreed on this topic. She thought that we still had a lot of improvements that could be made in Hong Kong and that we were not ready for it. And I thought that by launching in other cities, it would give us more data points to then iterate and help us get to the right product. And for the first time in 3 years of working together, this was a disagreement that we could not settle. We talked about it for several weeks. We asked our advisors for their opinions, and we were at a deadlock. But I knew that the only thing worse than making the wrong decision is not making a decision at all. And so by making a decision, whether it's right or wrong, you'll soon learn, and then you can take that and iterate to learn what is right. And so in the end, we didn't do the expansion, but that's okay. Because by not doing the expansion, we discovered Sam the Expert, our second product, and Sam the Expert has been a great success for us. So, that's also another example of how you're never really quite sure what will come up along the way, but surely life will give you something. So after launching Sam the Expert, I had to deal with the next and possibly my biggest hurdle yet so far. My co-founder told me that she wanted to move on from the company and pursue other passions. And this was really shocking news to me. In the past 3.5 years that we had worked together, we had gotten really close, and we were fairly like sisters. People always saw us together, we went to the same events. When someone saw us individually, they would ask, "Where's the other one?" And when she told me, it kind of felt like my world stopped, and I didn't know how to react to it. And I didn't quite know how to process it or what to do with my life. But someone hit the resume button, and I knew that I had a huge decision to make ahead of me. I could either choose to continue working on the company and find a way to fill her shoes, or I could also choose to stop running the company. And so I thought about it for about a month, but I knew in my gut that I had to touch the wall, I had to keep swimming. And so I did. And today, our company is a profitable company, and I've learned that I can swim just as well on my own, just as well, if not better and more efficiently. And so, even though there are hurdles along the way, if you have the persistence to keep going, you'll learn that there's always something on the other side. So besides startup life, how has this concept helped me outside? Last year, I herniated 2 of the discs in my lower back. And there were moments where, like in this x-ray here, I couldn't stand up straight, and I couldn't move without pain. And the doctors devastatingly told me that it would be several months before I could resume normal activity. I knew that injuring my back was a reality that I could not change, but what I did know is that I had the power to make recovery faster and better. And so I asked a lot of chiropractors and physiotherapists, how can I get faster? How can I get better faster? And almost all of them told me to keep moving. By moving, you will increase blood circulation, which helps with recovery. It also prevents the loss of muscle mass. And so moving, I tried, and mostly did. It started off very small, with me laying, of course, because I'm in bed laying, with small foot movements, and then lifting my legs, bringing my legs to my chest, rolling over, sitting up, getting out of bed. And surely but slowly, I got better. I was able to stand, I was able to walk, bend, and eventually, resume normal activity. One of the things that the doctors told me to do was to start swimming again, because it's very low impact, and it's also a very good workout. And luckily, swimming is a passion of mine, so that was very easy. I stopped swimming after high school because my university didn't have a swim team. So this rekindled my love for swimming. 5 months after this injury and many, many laps in the pool, I competed in Hong Kong's most popular open water swim. It's the Cross Harbor Swim. The Cross Harbor Swim, so in Hong Kong, there's Hong Kong Island, and then there's the rest of Hong Kong that connects to China. And in between, there's Victoria Harbor, which is used as a main water pathway that boats go to. There's also ferries that will take you from Hong Kong Island to Kowloon side. And normally you can't swim in Victoria Harbor because there's too many boats and ships. But for this special event, they'll close off Victoria Harbor, and they'll allow you to swim the 1,000 meters across the harbor. It was a very memorable experience for me. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be able to be in Victoria Harbor and look up at Hong Kong's skyline. 1 month after this, I was recruited to be a part of a team to do an ultramarathon. This would be my first ultramarathon. The ultramarathon is 100 kilometers. The furthest race that I had done previously was a half marathon, which is about 21 kilometers. But I also knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, because when else would you find 3 crazy other people who want to hike 100 kilometers with you? And the process to get into the event is by lucky draw. And so even if you were able to collect 3 people, it's not always for sure that you'd be able to compete in this event. And so I decided to go for the event, even though I would only have about 2 weeks of training. And we started off in high spirits. We told jokes, we laughed, we sang, and we started off ahead of schedule. And then about 30 kilometers in was when things started to go dramatically downhill. My knee started hurting and I could barely bend it. So every step that I took, basically, was very painful. And then this was also when it started to become nighttime. And it started to rain and it was very foggy. So if you can imagine a situation where you're high up on a mountain, your knee doesn't bend, it's foggy, so you can barely see several meters ahead of you, and you're on slippery rocks. This is a recipe for disaster. And many times, high up on this mountain, I thought, this is it. This is the moment that I am going to die. But luckily, I didn't, and I powered through it. I kept thinking to myself, keep going, keep swimming, touch the wall. At about 60 kilometers, my ankle started hurting and it started swelling. You can see here my knees are now wrapped. I look very miserable. I'm quite cold. Cold, tired, hungry, and in pain. And I heavily considered quitting at this time, around the 60-kilometer mark. But I knew that my teammates were just several hundred meters ahead of me, waiting for me. So this was a team race. We had to collectively cross each of the checkpoints and also the finish line together as a team, or we would be disqualified. And I knew that I couldn't let them down. So I thought to myself, one foot in front of the other, keep going, touch the wall. And at about 80 kilometers, one of my teammates came to walk with me. Side by side, we went foot in front of the other, and that was her way of encouraging me to continue walking. And after 32 hours, we completed this race, hand in hand. We look quite happy here, but I'm still in a lot of pain. But I'm really proud that I didn't quit when I thought, one, I was either going to die, or at 60 kilometers when I was in a lot of pain and very grumpy. And now I can say that I've done an ultramarathon. And you can see here, this is my strained right ankle, where it's very swollen compared to my left one. And so, how does this relate to you guys? Well, if you are in university, a common thing that I hear is that you're not quite sure what you want to do after university. And the advice that I always give to people who have this issue is to just pick one path and go with it. The only way you'll figure out what it is that you want to do is by doing anything and seeing if that's what you like. If you try something, let's say you try accounting, and it's something you love, great. If it's not something you love, then try something else. And by going through this checklist of what things that you may or may not like, you'll eventually come to something that you do love. And so if you are wondering if you have the persistence to continue going and to continue pursuing your dreams, consider this. Last year, I read a book called Born to Run by Chris McDougall. If you haven't read it, I definitely suggest it. It's a fantastic book. In the book, McDougall talks about how for millions of years, we hunted, this was before we had weapons, we hunted other animals by running them to death. So humans have the unique ability to sweat, and that is how we cool ourselves off. Whereas other animals, they have to stop or slow down when they get too hot. And so for millions and millions of years, we've basically outran bigger, stronger, and faster animals. It is an innate ability of yours to be persistent. You just have to keep swimming. Thank you.
Аплодисменты нашему спикеру. Я попрошу переводчика подняться к нам на сцену. У нас начинается время для вопросов. Ну вот, я вижу уже сразу в центральном отсеке. Спустите, пожалуйста, микрофончик в центр зала. Вот с этой стороны, да? Девушка, поднимите еще раз руку, чтобы мы вас идентифицировали. Да, вон туда микрофончик, пожалуйста.
Hello, Maggie.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for your speech. It's a real pleasure to listen for such beautiful English. Thank you very much. Yes, I have two questions actually. I have the first question. You mentioned that you tried a lot of channels of marketing and promotion, and it was of minimum effect and minimum results. And the best effect was contacts, special contacts. Yes, am I right? Did you understand you right? So you met some person who promoted you perfectly. Yes.
Right, exactly.
Okay. And you said that you showed the slide that you're working with luxury hotels.
Yeah.
Yes. So the main question is, when you have such VIP recommendations from such luxury hotels, how do you provide the quality of your guides, of your local experts? Do you have some system of quality?
Yep. So before the local insiders come onto our platform, they go through an interview process. And so the interview process is 2 steps. It's first a phone call, generally with me. And so the phone call basically is a quick way for me to check what their reasons are to become one of our local insiders. And people become one of our local insiders for many reasons. Some of them are to make money, to meet people from around the world because they love sharing what they do. And so this is kind of just my quick way of checking their purpose and what their interests are. And so after they pass that, they take me on a 1-hour trial tour. And we have proprietary metrics that we've created that we think makes pretty amazing locals. And so if you can pass this test, then you'll get an invitation to come onto our platform. And so through this process, we've been able to filter out a lot of people who, they think that they would be really good at this, but in all actuality, when you're actually taking someone around, you have to have a certain level of storytelling abilities. You have to be quite sociable. You also have to be knowledgeable in not just what is going on in Hong Kong, but also kind of around the world so that you have interesting things to talk about. And so those are just some of the ways that we judge people. The reviews are also one way for us to consistently check the quality. And so, if someone leaves a bad review, then we'll definitely talk to the person and say, hey, what happened? What's your side of the story? And see if there's anything that we can help them with.
Спасибо большое за ваш вопрос. Следующий вопрос. Кто?
Секундочку, я только уточню, одну минутку. How do you expertise the language level, knowing of foreign language?
So the majority of the tours that we do are in English, but for the ones that are requested, they tell me that they speak in a different language. I ask them their level of fluency, and this is generally something that I just trust them on. Because if someone were asking me to judge their fluency in Russian, I wouldn't be able to do that. But I generally trust our locals, and I think. Working together, there has to be a certain level of trust. They trust me, and I trust them.
Вы удовлетворены ответом? Замечательно. Давайте переместим микрофон вон в центр зала, чуть-чуть повыше. Рука вон поднятая, вам с правой стороны от вас подадут. Включите, пожалуйста, микрофон. Или другой подайте.
Раз.
Отлично.
Dear Maggie, thank you so much for so exciting performance. Can you see just one thing, the main thing that makes you wake up every day and keep going to run your business and keep going to swimming? Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for your question. The one thing that makes me wake up every day and continue to have passion for what I do over the 4.5 years that I've been working on this is the feedback that I get from the customers. And I'll often read through our reviews, and it's always, that they were able to experience Hong Kong in a way that they would have never imagined. And Hong Kong has so much that surprises people, and this is exactly what I want to share with them. Hong Kong has a lot beyond the skyscrapers, beyond the shopping, and beyond the food that people should explore. And this is the passion of what I want to share with people, is that you can explore Hong Kong based off of your own interests and what you like.
Следующий вопрос. Кто желает задать? Вон наверху мужчина, я вижу, тянет руку. Пожалуйста, просим.
Hi. Just wanted to ask you about the way you suppose maybe any secrets or any tools we can use to choose how to grow and maybe what's the next step to take? Okay, I'll explain a little bit. I have a business which is set up. It's a hostel, a small hostel, but it's operated in Vladivostok. But I wonder, this is the time I need to make the next step, and I want to know, maybe you can give any ideas of how do I judge what is my next step? Maybe increase in commercial marketing, maybe improve my services and just widen the product range, or I'm at the crossroad at the moment, so how do I judge which way to take?
I think quality in your product and quality in your service is always something that you should be focusing on. People buy products that they love, and so you have to ensure that your product is, one, something that they want, and two, something that they'll love. So what I would recommend for you, if you're at a crossroad, is to go talk to more people and go to more networking events. And if you have advisors or mentors, then to go talk to them, because I feel like as a younger entrepreneur, there's a lot that I could be learning from my advisors and my mentors, and they'll think of things that I definitely wouldn't have thought of because they have so many more years of experience than I do. And so it's always been very helpful for me to talk to my mentors and talk to my advisors and see what it is that they recommend. And by going to networking events like this, you have a higher probability and a higher chance to meet someone who can help you go to the next step. Maybe you'll meet someone who is from China, and they'll want to help you expand your hostel services into China. You just never know who you'll meet at these networking events. And so I recommend going to networking events with an open mind and looking for opportunities.
Thank you very much.
Есть еще вопрос у присутствующих девушек. Чуть-чуть ниже спустите, пожалуйста, вон рука.
Добрый день, меня зовут Татьяна. Вы сказали, что ваш партнер остановил вас в развитии вашего бизнеса в других городах. Теперь, когда, я так понимаю, вы остались одна в этом бизнесе, что-то вас останавливает, чтобы запустить такой же проект где-нибудь в Токио, например, или вы планируете это сделать в ближайшее время?
What is stopping me? Well, we haven't stopped working on the product or the project. Sorry. Oh, what stops her? Oh, okay. In short, my answer is trust. I totally trust her, and we didn't leave on bad terms. She's still a really good friend of mine. We still hang out in the same social circles. And so by no means is there any ill feelings there. And what she went on to go do is something completely different and not in the travel industry at all. And so I know that she wouldn't necessarily start a competitive business. Plus, she also still has a stake in our business, so it would only be doing her harm if she started a competitive business.
Вы получили нужный ответ? Друзья, есть ли еще у нас вопросы в зале к нашему спикеру? Есть вопрос? Пожалуйста, вон на первом ряду. Эксперты тоже могут задавать друг другу вопросы, воровать идеи, делиться опытом, скажем так, это назовем так.
Of all the decisions you made over the last couple of years with the business, what are you most proud of?
Tough question, Amit. I would probably say the decision that I'm most proud of is to start Sam the Expert, because I think the impact that we can have with Sam the Expert is very meaningful to me. There are a lot of things in Hong Kong that are starting to fade away because of the gentrification and the modernization of Hong Kong. And I think that if Hong Kong continues to lose its cultural identity, it'll become very bland and just like every other Asian city, and it won't have anything that's unique to it. And that is the social mission that I have is to help preserve and bring sustainability to the things that give Hong Kong its character. And so that's something that I'm very passionate about and something that I would say I'm very proud of.
Друзья, это был финальный вопрос от этого эксперта. Ты хочешь задать? А где ты сидела? Где ты была полчаса назад? Ну, надо было раньше думать. Дадим шанс, скажите, зал. Хорошо, задавай, только ради тебя.
Спасибо. Спасибо большое за ваш доклад, он был очень интересный. Я хочу спросить, с помощью каких каналов вы привлекаете своих клиентов сейчас, кроме как отели? И на первоначальном этапе какие каналы вы использовали для привлечения? Спасибо.
So when we first started, we tried a lot of different things. We tried the social media marketing, so that would be Facebook, Instagram. We tried Google AdWords with various results. We tried a lot of press. We tried handing out flyers. We even tried holding a sign that we just like hand wrote on a whiteboard. And our thought process behind that was that this would be a touch point to our potential customers. So we had a sign that said, "Free recommendations, come ask us." And, you know, our theory was that they would come and ask us for a recommendation, and then when we started talking to them, we could then sell them our tours. You know, looking back and thinking about it now, the sign probably should have been something a little bit more professional than just our handwriting on a whiteboard, and I'm not surprised that we didn't get a lot of hits that way. But those were several things that we tried. We also tried giveaways. We tried going to exhibitions and conferences. But so far, the hotel route has worked the best for us because it's something that we don't have to invest money in. And it makes sense because the hotels already have guests that are coming, and so I don't have to go find them around the world. They're already here in one spot. And the luxury hotel market has been a very good one for us and a very profitable one.
Спасибо большое. Перед вами выступал спикер из Гонконга Мэгги Лау. Аплодисменты. Мэгги, спасибо вам за ваш вклад. Это вам подарок от Владивостока. Welcome to Владивосток. Друзья, аплодисменты еще раз спикеру. Провожаем его в зал.